The player vendor bug has been striking once again, and the Gauss shotgun is now suffering from a new bug. Here's another round of 76 news. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. Despite a lack of official news this week, I got a lot to share with you today, especially when it comes to major bugs and a few interesting things not a lot of people noticed so far, such as a drinking and cheers pose, already in game, together with the fact that toxic gin is gone. In this news, I will also go over the new Atomic Shop library with all the published and cut entries so far, as well as the recent Steam login issues and the persistent ammo bug in daily operations. Moreover, I have a very intriguing mod to show you at the end, among some other points. So let's make haste and jump right into the details, shall we? I know I often talk about the player vendor bug, but this is one of these persistent issues that Bethesda never figured out so far. It has been part of the game for years now, and every few months it seems to strike in mass, confirmed by dozens of reports and upvotes. Then, in the following months, it seems to do not trigger at all and reports no longer pop up. It's like a vicious cycle, that much I have noticed. Why is it like that though? I have no idea. Anyway, in this past week, I noticed again a sudden rise of reports about how random stashed items have been sold for insanely low caps. I think Bethesda noticed too, since their community managers have been asking affected players for more details. Anyway, if you are not familiar with this bug, here it goes. When it happens, it basically selects a random stashed item and adds it for sale through your vendor at a random price, normally with 1 or 2 digits, and that's it. Here are a few examples of the bug in action. Needless to say that the most effective way to counter this bug is to simply remove or store your vendors. Disabling them by cutting power will not work though, since, well, players can still access and buy stuff from non-powered vendors, so keep that in mind. But if you are looking for alternative solutions, I've got a few for you. For instance, make sure to transfer most of your precious and rare stuff to an alt character or account, like rare outfits or endgame gear you don't often use. You can also carry such items with you if you have the space. This bug can only fetch items from the stash, so it does not affect your inventory, thankfully. The last option is to do the reverse strategy, transfer stuff you want to sell to an alt with no valuable stashed stuff and keep your vendors active there. I know this bug is a true hassle and it impairs the ability to sell stuff, so as I usually say, proceed at your own risk. I often carry my rare items around, that's why my build allows me to have almost 600 carry weight. It's one of the sole purposes. If I lose some of my stashed bloodied weapons, I won't be too sad because my main weapons are always with me in my inventory. Anyhow, keep in mind this bug could happen to anyone at any time in any platform. The good news is that it's pretty rare. It does not happen very often, but when it does, it could mean losing something really valuable to you. As such, I advise you guys to play it safer rather than sorry. Now let me inform you about a new issue with the popular Gauss shotgun. Ever since Bethesda fixed the Grenadier perk, with Update 30, players have been using Gauss weapons more and more, due to its natural explosive damage, which benefits from the Grenadier perk. As more players use such weapons, more bugs are being discovered, as to be expected. And no, I'm not talking about the persistent one that makes you miss all the time versus certain enemies, like Culpers for example, or even the concentrated fire bug, which makes you miss the head like 90% of the time. Nothing alike. I'm talking about a new bug which blocks players from sprinting, reloading, or even using favorite bar items like steam packs and radaways. Now, you may think this is a really strange bug, and it is, but it's actually real. I noticed this a few weeks ago, since I often use a bloodied Gauss shotgun even before it became popular with patch 30. I even thought this may be a favorite spark bug, but it seems to be related to this weapon specifically. Anyhow, this bug did not exist before the latest update, at least not on my end. Now it's permanently there. For me though, it normally affects my ability to use team packs. I need to spam my favorite spark key for it to eventually work as shown in the footage. I'm running around trying to heal myself, but it simply does not register most of the time. Needless to say, this problem can easily lead to your death during combat, so I hope Bethesda finds out what's going on here and releases a fix with the next patch or so. Until then, you should play extra safely if you want to use your Gauss shotgun, since you could easily get conditioned at any time. You know, no steam packs, no jumping, no sprinting, and that's really bad if you are in a tough situation. So remember that. The next news is not really new anymore, but for a lot of you guys, it surely is. I'm talking about Toxic Gin and the vintage Toxic Gin. 2 new drinks added with the Steel Rain DLC back in July, but it didn't take long until Bethesda removed these items from the game. The thing here is, not a lot of people noticed the change. I could only find a few posts on social media with very little traction, and that's it. So no wonder not a lot of people are aware of this change yet. Anyway, after finding out myself that Toxic Gin is no longer spawning at a Blue Ridge office, I decided to investigate, and yes, it got removed. As several data miners confirmed here, the Fallout Wiki also states such items can no longer spawn or be crafted after update 29, but the items still remain in-game for those who looted or crafted it before the patch, either in inventories or stash. As such, Toxic Gin is now a legacy item. Maybe it will make a return in a future DLC, who knows? But if it doesn't, well, it's a really nice item. It boosted damage and everyone was crazy about it. Maybe it needs a little bit of balancing before it comes back, if it does. This next point is really exciting news if you love digital photograph in 76 or to simply roleplay. So while looking into the Toxic Gin matter, I sit on this stool inside the Blue Ridge office, and for my surprise, I discovered it has magic powers. No, seriously, if you sit on it, your character will perform a series of emotes that cannot be accessed anywhere else. For starters, your character sits differently than other stools, then it will hold a cup on your hand and eventually perform a drinking animation. There's also a cheers one. It's pretty awesome. I hope they will release such stools for camps at some point. Anyway, this particular stool is used by Paladin Ramani during the Steel Rain missions, which gives her the same exact animations during dialogue. So perhaps this is some sort of bug or unintended content, as in it's not supposed to apply to player characters, only to NPCs or something alike. If that's the case, then you better take your drinking and cheers screenshots while you still can before they fix it. Just saying. Where should I start with this point? Well, we finally have a complete library for the Atomic Shop thanks to the devoted Fallout Wiki contributors. This sort of encyclopedia with all the Atomic Shop released entries are divided into 2 main pages featuring 17 subcategories. While the main one features mostly character-related stuff, such as costumes, paints, emotes, photo mode, poses, icons, and so on, the second category is focused on camp releases, from decor to shelters, displays, and even allies. It's very well organized, and it's the perfect place to clarify any doubts you might have about X or W items from the Atomic Shop. You can also check everything released in the past or even cut content, which may or may not be added in the future. There's also a very interesting subcategory for bundles, something that normally confuses me a lot because there are so many and they include a lot of entries too, so I find this part extra convenient in terms of knowledge. I'm leaving the 2 links right below the video in case you want to check it out. You might want to bookmark them as well for future usage. I surely did that already. Did you know that Bethesda recently updated the Happy Builder mode? That's right. A few days ago, they went forward with a maintenance to add a new rule to the public world featuring the Happy Builder mode. Now, players can build whatever they want without any costs. That's right, building a workshop or camp no longer requires any materials there, it's all free. This obviously encourages players to build more and in a carefree way, without thinking or worrying about running out of resources no matter how much they build or how many mistakes they end up making. But is it enough to get players to join this specific game mode? I'm not so sure. While gathering footage for this new rule, I spotted like 6-7 players in that server, and it was during prime time Europe, so yeah, it was pretty empty for the usual population of a server. But then again, it's Fallout Worlds. I think the interest rate is really low in this game mode overall, but let's leave it there. Recently, Steam users reported login problems with Fallout 76, but for once, it was not Bethesda's fault. Well, at least I think it wasn't. Apparently, the Steam network had a short service disruption. I'm not sure if it was a global issue or not, but it surely affected 76, as several reports indicate. Players could not link to their Bethesda accounts. As a result, they were not able to play for a short while. The great news is that it didn't last long, so it's nothing to worry about really. I just wanted to keep you in the loop. Daily operations are being affected by yet another ammo bug, sadly. Not too long ago, the new pepper shaker would not drop the used ammo from enemies, for some players at least. Now, this bug has spread to more weapons, particularly to those that use 5mm ammo. That's right, this bug prevents enemies from dropping 5mm ammo, as shown in the footage. I used a minigun and then a Gatling gun, both using this ammo, and all the mobs dropped random ammo instead. The rule applied here is the same one as melee or no weapons at all, so there's clearly a heavy bug going on here. Now, what has Bethesda said so far about this? Well, they have been investigating the problem, and the community manager Valseek has already said a fix is on the way, so we should expect this problem to be gone with update 31, but let's wait and see. Alright, let's not forget about the double event weekend going on right now since Thursday, September 22 and lasting until Monday, September 27. For this weekend, Bethesda enabled another double experience event, which was scheduled for a very long time in their Q3 community event calendar, as well as a double mutation event for daily ops, which is not part of any calendar, but it's live too for whatever reason. Don't forget, daily ops also drops double currency rewards now, so yeah, it's time to farm everything. No, really, it's the perfect time to farm, whether you need some quick levels, cabs, script, or legendary modules. Or even legendaries, I don't know, it's like good for everything. So make sure to participate in these special events and get double the rewards with half the effort, pretty much. We are close to the end, and since a lot of you guys have been asking about this week's Inside the Vault article, I decided to add this point to inform you guys there was none. I even waited a bit longer with this video to make sure there was no late publishing, and nope, there was no news this week. Well, other than the usual Atomic Shop update every Tuesday, of course. Let's hope we get some fresh news from the Vault in the following week. As the last news, I want to tell you about Daphne's wardrobe mode. I tweeted about it last week or so, but I did not have space in previous news to talk about it, so here it is now. First of all, let me make it clear that you cannot add any clothes to Daphne the legit way, so she's basically stuck with her old rags, and that's not a very pleasant experience, is it? But there is a solution for this. If you really like Daphne and you don't mind using mods, then you can go ahead and get this one made by Western93, which basically unlocks different children clothes for her. There are currently 10 options, such as Rara's costume, a hazmat suit, and even the real inspector outfit, so there's plenty of choice here. Now, I tested the yellow dress and Peter's suit, and it works really well, as you can see in the footage. I'm leaving the link right below the video as well in case you want to check it out or even get it for yourself. The choice is yours. As for today's random bug, I selected the famous clone bug, where a player becomes two and things get really weird. I think this can happen when a player disconnects or relogs into the same server, but I could be wrong. The clone will obviously stand still until the server realizes that, well, that's not a real player, but sadly that can take a long while. That's why we can encounter such majestic events. Wasteland clones. Ah yes, perfect. Anyway, that's everything for now. I hope I could keep you up to date with everything Fallout 76. I am Artur Branco. Feel free to leave a like, comment below, and all of that if you wish to support my channel. And as per usual, thanks to all my lovely supporters for going the extra mile by becoming patrons or members. Now, I will see you all very soon in the next video. Until then, take care, adios, bye bye!